Mantra meditation. The passionate feelings which arises by unfavorable karmic influence and unhealthy desires bring resentment within. The immediate solution is to find a calm place and practice the recitation of a soothing, transcendental mantra meditation, which relaxes the mind and body and leads us into the higher consciousness. By practicing on regular basis, it will help calm down the raging senses, the mental noise, the many thoughts, the many distractions, the many moods can disappear when absorbed in yoga of mantra meditation. This is the art of bringing us to a state where all this does not exist and where Krishna, Ram, Hare or Om is fully present in mantra meditation. Now let's all begin with the prayers to invoke for divine mercy to proceed calmly through mantra meditation. Prayer number 1. Om Ajnana Timrandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master who has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance, with the torchlight of knowledge. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yad kripatamaham bande paramanandam padavam. I remember with devotion the divine grace of Krishna, who can make the dumb speak with eloquence and the lame cross higher mountains. I remember and extol that grace which flows from the supreme bliss manifestation of Madhava. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeyaham Shri Guru Shri Tupad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakaham Vitamscha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and of all the other preceptors on the path of devotional service. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaisnavas and unto the 6 Goswamis, including Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and their associates. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Advaita Acharya Prabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all his devotees. Headed by Srivas Thakur, I then offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, Srimati Radharani, and all the gopis, headed by Lalita and Vishakha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Chant each Mahamantra at a time and listen with full concentration. Chant Om, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mantra meditation is a technique that combines mantra, sound, pranayama, breathe, and dharana meditation to achieve a deep state of meditation, increased energy levels, and reaching self-mastery and self-awareness. Transcendental sound meditation and primordial sound meditation is an ancient methodology. The basis of these practices consists of silently chanting mantras and using the vibration of the mantra to help still the mind, and it creates serenity in the consciousness. This universal mantra will create powerful positive vibrations in your mind, body, and consciousness that rise up through your body, it is often combined with the divine mantras Hari Om, Shanti, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare refers to the divine feminine potency of God. Krishna means the all-attractive one. Rama means the reservoir of all pleasure. Supreme Godhead refers to Krishna and Ram, who are both names of the Supreme Godhead. Shakti refers to the energy Shakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The mantra Hare Krishna and Rama is said to have a direct impact on the soul. The chanting of these mantras can help people free themselves from unwanted habits and temporary material stress and agony and connect with the Almighty. The mantra is part of repetitive structure that consists of 16 words divided into 4 phrases. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The mantra is mentioned in the Kali Santarana Upanishad and is a Vaishnava chant, Hare Krishna, Rama. The transcendental vibration by chanting the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the sublime method for reviving our Krishna consciousness. As living spiritual souls, we are all originally Krishna conscious entities. But due to our association with matter since time immemorial, our consciousness is now polluted by material atmosphere. In this polluted concept of life, we are all trying to exploit the resources of material nature. But actually, we are becoming more and more entangled in our complexities. The illusion is called Maya, or hard struggle for existence over the stringent laws of material nature. The illusory struggle against the material nature can at once be stopped by revival of our Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not an artificial imposition on the mind. This consciousness is the original energy of the living entity. When we hear the transcendental vibration, this consciousness is revived, and the process is recommended by authorities for this age. By practical experience also, we can perceive that by chanting this Maha Mantra or the great chanting for deliverance, one can at once feel transcendental ecstasy from the spiritual stratum. When one is factually on the plane of spiritual understanding, surpassing the stages of sense, mind, and intelligence, one is situated on the transcendental plane. This chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is directly enacted from the spiritual platform, surpassing all lower status of consciousness, namely sensual, mental, and intellectual. Chant. There is no need of understanding the language of the mantra, nor is there any need of mental speculation, nor any intellectual adjustment for chanting this Maha Mantra. It brings automatically from the spiritual platform, and as such, anyone can take part in this transcendental sound vibration without any previous qualification and dance in ecstasy. We have seen it practically. Even a child can take part in the chanting, or even a dog can take part in it. The chanting should be heard, however, from the lips of a pure devotee of the Lord, so that immediate effect can be achieved. As far as possible, chanting from the lips of a non-devotee should be avoided, as much as milk touched by the lips of a serpent causes poisonous effect. The word Hara is a form of addressing the energy of the Lord. Both Krishna and Rama are forms of addressing directly the Lord, and they mean the highest pleasure, eternal. Hara is the supreme pleasure, potency of the Lord. This potency, when addressed as Hari, helps us in reaching the Supreme Lord. The material energy called as Maya is also one of the multipotencies of the Lord, as much as we are also marginal potency of the Lord. The living entities are described as superior energy than matter. When the superior energy is in contact with inferior energy, it becomes an incompatible situation. But when the supreme marginal potency is in contact with the spiritual potency, Hara, it becomes the happy, normal condition of the living entity. The three words, namely Hara, Krishna, and Rama, are transcendental seeds of the Mahamantra, and the chanting is a spiritual call for the Lord and His internal energy. Hara, for giving protection to the conditioned soul. The chanting is exactly like a genuine cry by the child for the mother. Mother Hara helps in achieving the grace of the Supreme Father, Hari, or Krishna, and the Lord reveals Himself to such a sincere devotee. No other means, therefore, of spiritual realization is as effective in this age as chanting the Mahamantra. It represents the absolute reality and the Supreme Soul. It is a combination of three mantras in Sanskrit that appears in verse 1723 of the Bhagavad Gita. The word Shanti has a direct translation meaning peace. Both these sounds have different vibrations regardless of their meaning or correct pronunciation. It is not about perfection. Your chanting and your meditation are for your well-being. By practicing on a regular basis and attentively listening to each mantra whilst controlling the raging mind, then the understanding of yoga will be revealed from within. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2:17. Everyone is conscious of the pains and pleasures of the body in a part or as a whole. This spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. The pains and pleasures of one body are unknown to another. Therefore, each and every body is the embodiment of an individual soul, and the symptom of this soul's presence is perceived as individual consciousness. This soul is described as 1/10,000 part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. The Svetashvara Upanishad 5.9 confirms this. Balagra satabhagasya satadha kalpitasya cha bhago jiva savikyaya sachanantya kalpati. When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. Similarly, the same version is stated. Kesagra satabhagasya satamsa sadrasmakha jiva sukshma swarupayam sankyato hi chitkana. There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms which are measured as 1/10,000 of the upper portion of the hair. Therefore, the individual particle of a spirit soul is a spiritual atom smaller than the material atoms, and such atoms are innumerable. This very small spiritual spark is the basic principle of the material body, and the influence of such a spiritual spark is spread all over the body as the influence of the active principle of some medicine spreads throughout the body. This current of the spirit soul is felt all over the body as consciousness, and that is the proof of the presence of the soul. Any layman can understand that the material body minus consciousness is a dead body, and this consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. Therefore, consciousness is not due to any amount of material combination, but to the spirit soul. In the Mundaka Upanishad 3.19, the measurement of the atomic spirit soul is further explained. Eso anur atma chetasa veditevyo yasmin prana panchadha samvivesha pranaischittam sarvamotam prajanam yasmin visuddhe vivati yesa atma. The soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. This atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air: prana, apan, vyana, samana, and udana. It is situated within the heart and it spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. When the soul is purified from the contamination of the 5 kinds of material air, its influence, spiritual influence, is exhibited. The Hatha Yoga system is meant for controlling the 5 kinds of air encircling the pure soul by different kinds of sitting postures, not for any material profit, but for liberation of the minute soul from the entanglement of the material atmosphere. So the constitution of the atomic soul is admitted in all Vedic literatures, and it is also actually felt in the practical experience of any sane man. Only the insane man can think of this atomic soul as well as all-pervading Vishnu Tattva. The influence of the atomic soul can be spread all over a particular body. According to the Mundaka Upanishad, the atomic soul is situated in the heart of every living entity. And because the measurement of the atomic soul is beyond the power of appreciation of the material scientists, some of them assert foolishly that there is no soul. The individual atomic soul is definitely there in the heart along with the supersoul, and thus all the energies of bodily movement are emanating from this part of the body. Chant. The corpuscles which carry the oxygen from the lungs gather energy from the soul. When the soul passes away from this position, the activity of the blood-generating fusion ceases. Medical science accepts the importance of the red corpuscles, but it cannot ascertain that the source of the energy is the soul. Medical science, however, does admit that the heart is the seat of all energies of the body. Such atomic particles of the spirit whole are compared to the sunshine molecules. In the sunshine there are innumerable radiant molecules. Similarly, the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord are atomic sparks of the rays of the Supreme Lord, called the name Prabha, or superior energy. So whether one follows Vedic knowledge or modern science, one cannot deny the existence of the spirit soul in the body. And the science of the soul is explicitly described in the Bhagavad Gita by the personality of Godhead himself. In humility and supplication, let's fold our palms in gentle, sweet, loving kindness to express our deepest heartfelt prayers. Real yoga begins from a journey within understanding the science of the soul. First, let's leave and let go all varieties of thoughts from our minds and families, friends, wealth, affection, jobs, business, relationships, etc. Any existing plans or desires, let them leave your thoughts and mind and heart by substituting with a serene, calm journey within your hearts to search for that joy, happiness and connectivity. Breathe, breathe, breathe deep and relax body. Meditate on the Maha Mantra with consciousness, with conscious attention. Adharit atmanatman natmanam evasadaye atmaiva yatmano bandhur atmaiva ripur atmana. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. Bhagavad Gita 6:11-12. The seat should be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses and activities and fixing the mind on one point. Bhagavad Gita 6:10. Yogi yunjuta satatam atmana rahasi stita ekaki yat chitatma nirashir aprigraha. A transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind and self in relationship with the Supreme. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness, thus practicing constant control of the body, mind and activities. The mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God. Bhagavad Gita 6:16. There is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi, O Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much, or does not sleep enough. Regulation of diet and sleep is recommended herein for the yogis. Too much eating means eating more than is required to keep the body and soul together. There is no need for man to eat animals, because there is an ample supply of grains, vegetables, fruits, and milk. Such simple foodstuffs is considered to be in the mode of goodness. According to the Bhagavad Gita, animal food is for those in the mode of ignorance. Therefore, those who indulge in animal food, drinking, smoking, and eating food which is not first offered to Krishna will suffer sinful reactions because of eating only polluted things. Bhunjate tete agam pap yepashanti atma karanat. Anyone who eats for sense pleasure or cooks for himself, not offering his food to Krishna or God, eats only sin. One who eats sin or eats more than is allotted to him cannot execute perfect yoga. It is best that one eat only the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 6:17. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Bhagavad Gita 6:18. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. Bhagavad Gita 6:17. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalists whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendental self. Bhagavad Gita 6:20-23. In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth. And upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. Bhagavad Gita 6:24. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not to be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. Bhagavad Gita 6:25. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. Bhagavad Gita 6:26. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Bhagavad Gita 6:27. A yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme, and thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds. Bhagavad Gita 6:28. Thus the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 6:29. A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. Bhagavad Gita 6:30. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. 6:31 Bhagavad Gita. Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the Supersoul, knowing that I and the Supersoul are one, remains always it me in all circumstances. Chant. Bhagavad Gita 6:32. He is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress. O Arjuna. Bhagavad Gita 6:33. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless, unsteady. Bhagavad Gita 6:34. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. Bhagavad Gita 6:35. Lord Shri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. Bhagavad Gita 6:36. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. Bhagavad Gita 6, 13, 14. One should hold one's body, neck and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life, beginning with repeating your mantras, slowly, steadily, concentrating on its sound as fully as you can. Repeat it in unison with the natural rhythm of your breath. Either split it so you repeat half the mantra when you inhale and the other half when you exhale, or repeat it on both the inhalation and the exhalation. There is something uniquely calming about using chants or mantras in meditation. In fact, mantra meditation can help silence the racing thoughts in your mind and calm your nervous system. It can also reduce distractions, increase attention span, and improve your mood and mental state. And it's also quite simple to practice, and as soon as mantra is chanted, immediately that mantra connects us to the soul proper. That's the natural position of the individual souls, to connect to the super soul within the heart. Any thought arises in mind whilst chanting mantra, simply ignore it. Be here now and return to the sound of the mantra. Knowing this is a natural part of the process, gently bring your attention back again and again, experiencing the internal sound as fully as possible, listening the sweet sound of the mantra without thinking of anything else. Chant each syllable of the mantra and listen with focused attention. This practice will lead to a good concentration. Chanting the Lord's name cleanses our selfish ego and allows true light of love within our soul to shine towards God and all living beings. By regular practice of chanting mantra, our consciousness gets clearer and clearer and clearer, and deeper relationship develops within. O my Lord, Shri Krishna, Son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Bhagavad Gita 13:8-12. I'll read in the next